Welcome back to Dig the Game and another Saturday Sit-Down. Today is June 3rd, 2023, and got a little bit more stuff to talk about today for the Saturday Sit-Down. And you can see right now I'm playing the game Red Moon. I'll talk about that a little bit more in the video as we move on, but it's been a great week for the channel. I got some exciting news to share. There's been so many more subscribers jumping on, which is really cool. I mean, I'm just loving it, and I love the comments and interactions. We've had some game updates, and so we're going to start going through all of that. The first thing I want to talk about, though, is the Dig the Game contest. I posted a video for that yesterday because I didn't think I was going to get a No One Survived video, but then they came out with an update, so I was like, well, I guess I am going to do a No One Survived video, but the contest runs from now until the 4th of July, and it's just 10 questions about the channel, and I figured what I'm going to do is, on the Saturday sit-downs, I'm going to give clues to what video you can watch to get the answers. And the first one I'm going to say is, if you're wondering about questions 1 and 2, my dog's name and what color she is, you can watch the Pocky One Chip Challenge video, where we say her name and you see her in the video. So if you need help on 1 and 2, that's where you can find that. But it's exciting. The first place gets $60. Second and third get $10. It's just about fun and showing some love and support for the people that support me and the channel. And next up, we're going to talk about Occupy Mars. Wow. So a lot of things have happened. Last week I found Olympus Mons, and I had been looking for that like crazy. And so finally finding that made me really happy. I have found the aliens. I've got that coming up in some video coverage. I don't think I've posted that yet, but when I do, you'll be able to see when I find the aliens. They did an update yesterday, and it is such a blessing that they did this update. Now first person and third person view they're remembered. So when I go to sleep and I wake up, I don't have to change my view. When I get in and out of the rover, I don't have to change my view. So I'm so happy that they did that, and I can't wait to see what else they come out with. But they did add another unlock for the tablets. So I was able to read a tablet and unlock the vehicle teleporting. Unfortunately, right now, I don't know how the heck that works. I'm trying to figure it out. There's not really much out there in the info for how it works, so I'm going to be doing some experimenting, and hopefully by this upcoming Wednesday, when I do the Occupy Mars video, I'll have all that figured out, and I'll be able to talk about how that works. Magnus commented that they aim for at least 12 on the CO2 scrubbers. I think I've gotten 12 on 1 or 2 of them, but it's like I hit 11, the range of 11, and then I start getting too much heat if I try to turn it up any more than that. But Magnus, if you got some tips on how you turn the dials and whatnot, you'll add a comment. We would love to hear it, and I would love to be able to do that so I can charge my base faster. Anytime I have to build or tear down a part of my base, I lose all my pressure, and then I have to wait like several game days before I can take my helmet off at my base again. So I would love to figure out any ways to bump that up. I'm also using a little bit more water than I'm taking in at the moment, because I found out in the large dome I can plant way more potatoes and beets. The cabbage and pumpkins, they take up a pretty big square, but when you plant beets and potatoes, like, they're little tiny squares. So I went through like every single one of my seed containers for potatoes and beets, just planting them, and then I realized it eats up tons of water. So it's cool that I can plant more, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know if it balances out with how much water I'm going to be having to use. And I could pump some more water in. I don't know. I'll play with the balancing. I would love to get it to where I'm pulling in like 100 liters of water an hour, but I'll keep playing with it and see what happens. Gavin Holiday commented about the missing piece of the map. So that looks like it was just a loading glitch. if I save and exit and come back in, then the map is there. So I think it was probably just something when my game had loaded up at that point. It's early access, you know, things like that'll happen. As long as I can find a way to work around it and fix it, cool. Gavin also commented about the snow biome. You know, I like the snow biome. It's pretty cool, but apparently it's sort of a universal map generation thing. You know, you get far enough from base, you're going to find one. I had to go north or south to find it. That brings me up to how I think they did the map. If you look at the real Mars map, it was able to guide me to a lot of different things and try to get my directions up, but it's not accurate at all. And it's scaled down like a crazy level from where your pod is or where you land, and I built my base. Olympus Mons is just a stone's throw away to the west, like 2.5 kilometers away. In reality, from the location that you're at, really on Mars, it's like 3,000 kilometers. It's something crazy. It's a long way. So I get it though. It would be ridiculous to put things that far, and that scope for the game would just be outrageously huge. I understand why they did it. But I also want to point out too, and I'll be covering this in Wednesday's video, that I was able to find all of the historical sites. There's a really great website. I'll put it down in the comments. It was posted on the Steam forum about where to find all those. It's got pictures and the map of the historic locations, and that's how I found them. Just a quick tip though, they are all located east of the pod or like my base area. There's nothing to the west at all. They're all to the east. They're all sort of grouped up together pretty well. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're all to the east. My brain's a little full, so I can't exactly remember. Moving on, Robert Perez also commented about the Rock Crusher. It's a giant trash can. And I can't believe I didn't think of that. Like, if you fall into the thing, it chops you to bits. But, you know, I was like, yeah, you could just drop stuff in there. So, thank you. I'm so glad that you added that comment. And I'm sorry I didn't pick it up sooner. Like, that's really cool. And there was another comment about stacking plant items in the food generator. I had done all the math, and I gave all the numbers for the different recipes and stuff in one of my videos. But apparently you can just put in 4 different stacks of the same vegetable and get another boost as well. So theoretically, you could just grow one plant the whole time, which is cool. I like to have all of them growing just because I'm that way. I might decide I'm going to do a whole bunch of potato harvests and just make 4 stacks of potatoes, throw them in there, and see what I get. And I'll make sure I put that in a video. On to No One Survived. Yeah, like I said yesterday, I didn't plan to make a video for it, and then I ended up seeing that they updated, and their update, pretty cool. I'll say still pretty cool. The thing is, they added bandit camps. There are 3 bandit camps. I was able to find 2 of the 3, so if you watch my video from yesterday, you'll be able to see where those camps are. And I like it. I like the fact that you can actually fight NPCs now. Some of them have guns. Other ones have melee. Most of them have guns, and they shoot a lot. So you got to be really careful going into those places. Make sure you have a good ranged firearm. I found out the AK works really good at taking them down. It can interrupt their shots and really stop them quickly. Mr. Ed commented the 5-day respawn period. They did put that in the Steam announcement for the update, but if you do go through and take on these bandit camps, every 5 days you can go back through and get loot again. Speaking of the loot, I looted the entire base. There was nothing in either one of the camps for loot. The only loot I was able to get was from killing the bandits and picking up the body to get the loot that they had. Maybe that's by design. Maybe that's what they were going for. But it just seems like they would have some kind of real cool loot system. Next up, we have Red Moon. I really looked forward to this game. I was thinking this is going to be a real fun one to add in doing the coverage for. It wasn't very expensive. I can't remember the exact price of it, like $13 or something. And started playing it. I liked the cartoon-like look of the game. And, I mean, you're watching it right now. But the thing that really got me was when I started looking at other games that are out there. And I realized that this is literally an asset flip. I mean, it is the exact same game as like 10 other games out on the market right now. They all just have a little bit of a different flair to them. The zombies are pretty clunky. I mean, I'm not going to tear apart the game because I can have fun playing this game and building stuff, but you know, having the character like make noise every time he swings the knife to cut down a bush, and there's just a lot of little things about the game that make it not as enjoyable, and definitely not something that I'm going to cover in a series because it's all just super basic. There's nothing really to figure out and you know, explain to an audience. So like, oh look, you can do this and unlock that, and it's no one survived neutered with cartoony graphics. I'll just put it that way. I got to do a really cool meeting yesterday, and I am in a film right now. It's like a modern retelling of Robin Hood. But coming up, I get to play a villain. I get to be a bad guy again. I get cast as a bad guy a lot. I don't know why. Maybe it's because usually I'm like this. I'm a pretty friendly person. And so I'll walk into an audition and I'll talk to the casting director just like this, and then I'll read the lines for this villain, and I completely flip the script into being this super mean type person. And I think it sells him. I think they're like, oh, he's so nice in real life, but then he can really act when he's being a jerk. So yeah, it's played into my favor. I play a mob boss in this upcoming movie, but additionally, and I've talked about it before on the channel, but I do martial arts. I do Taekwondo, and I'm actually an instructor now. And I've got experience in Krav Maga. I'm former military, and I did security in the military. So I have a lot of different training when it comes to hand-to-hand combat and weapon combat, which makes it really fun playing some of these games too, because it's like, oh, I can compare the realism. But I am actually brought in not only as the mob boss in this movie, but the fight choreographer. And I got to meet with the main actress, so she plays the main hero in the film, and she is an awesome fighter and takes on a whole bunch of baddies in it, and I get to choreograph the fight scenes. So I'm really excited about that. I got a couple other people that I'm working with for safety, and what we call an uki, who is somebody that they demonstrate the moves, like you show these moves on the person. And so it's going to be really fun to work with her. She's down in Georgia, so I won't be able to do the in-person until we get closer to production and we meet up on set. But yeah, she's really cool, really nice, and I'm excited to work with her. Next Friday, we have a really cool game coming out. It is called Gray Hill Incident, and it's an alien invasion pretty much, and you play just a normal everyday person that has been thrown into this alien invasion. And I watched the demo gameplay of it. It looks pretty fun. It looks a little freaky, and I think that's going to make it even cooler. It's going to be one of those really fun games to play late at night after the family's gone to sleep, and I can freak out independently. The only thing, oh, please stop comparing it to Signs. You know, I thought Signs was going to be a good movie. I'm going to go off on a tangent here, and I don't want to. I'm nicer than that. But what were you thinking, Shyamalan? Like, seriously? Water? Another game coming out this month is Forever Skies. This one, it's got such a cool original concept. I mean, I have to play it. As long as it's not like a $50, $60 release, you know, I'll add it to my list because I got some big things coming up, you know, in my personal life with buying a home that I really don't want to dump too much money onto a game. Just right now, I still have plenty of stuff to show. And I also missed, when I was talking about Occupy Mars, I did have another comment from Steve Lucas, who had commented about really liking Occupy Mars and considering playing it. And what I'll say is that I definitely can recommend the game. 100% recommend it. It's up to you when you want to play it, though. It's not in a finished state yet. It does have its issues, and I really want to be able to unlock the rest of the stuff, and I'm sort of stuck where I'm at. I do have more stuff to cover, and as things are released, I'll be able to keep covering it, but if you're looking for a complete game experience, it's not quite there yet. But it is something that if you do start playing it now, you can at least build up to that and get ready for when they finish stuff up. So, Steve Lucas, thank you for your comment. I shared a video of a comedy skit I did a while ago. It was for a series called Agents, and they were really working to get it off the ground. That scene was actually a prior rendition to what they had released for the final review. So that scene actually never went anywhere. It was completely cut, and we refilmed it a different way. But it was really fun working with the team, and all of them were just great to be on set with, and we had a lot of fun with it, despite the fact that my character, so I hope no one was triggered by that. It wasn't, it was all done in fun. It was,
You've got to be kidding me.
It was definitely enjoyable, and everybody had a great time working on it. And so, if you get a chance to check it out, it's pretty fun. And I have more sort of film shorts and things that I've done in the past that I'm happy to share. If people like them, I will, keep throwing out some of those gems. But I'll put them not on my game release days. I'll probably sandwich them in the middle somewhere here and there. And I also have a lot of concert footage. I have entire concerts of prior bands that I've been in that I'm happy to post if people want to see them. So if you do, comment below and I'll add some concert footage. I think I've got 4 different bands that I have shows for that I could upload to the channel. I'm also working on getting the master file for the feature film called Paradise Lodge. And I play the lovable character of Billy, and it's an 80s inspired slasher film. And it did really well. I mean, we shot it on a hairstring budget. Hairstring? I don't know if that's right. Either way, we shot it on a very low budget, and it came out to be something that we didn't expect. It actually came out with, I think it's pretty cool. And Billy, he's super funny. I remember at the premiere, my characters, when he got killed, everyone's like, no, not Billy. And so I was very happy about that. I was like, okay, great, cool. I'm going to be recording a whole different thing coming up on the channel, and that is the renovations in the new house. And I thought, well, I'm learning a lot of stuff. There are a couple of channels out there that are like gold mines for home renovation. And so I want to take that and show what I'm doing. I show what the room looked like before I began, and then what it looks like as I go through the process. Sanding floors, remodeling, doing plumbing, doing maybe some minor electrical stuff. I got tons of work. I've got to restore a deck. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to put that in there under a renovation playlist on the channel, just because I think it's cool. Is it about gaming? Well, can you say that life is a game in some ways? Like, you just you go on new adventures. This is a big new adventure. I think it's going to be fun, and I think I have some info to share about it. And with the new home, I'm also going to be setting up a home game studio. The goal is I want to have more players be able to join in on the in-person gaming and recording. And I'm going to try to set up a new audio rig that can record the game audio, or not the game audio, the voice audio separate of the game. So I can have multiple people talking, all getting recorded on individual tracks, and then overlay that over during the editing. It's just going to save me a ton of problems. When I try to record voice audio in line with the gameplay, it does go on a separate channel using OBS that I use. But if I have like Logan playing on a game with me, it's really tough because both of us have our independent recordings and our independent game channel, like our independent game versus audio channels. It just gets really messy. I have to fight with delays and overlaps. So I want to take the voice audio and completely separate it out into a different thing. So I'm going to be working on that. Next thing is with future Saturday sit-downs, I would love to figure out like a fun community game to do, like a live stream after the Saturday sit-down. There are some really fun, just sort of simple games, even a couple online ones, like the IO games. I think those are pretty fun. It'd be cool just to get some of the viewers to tap in, and if I can set up a specific time that I do these, then it lets people in the community know when I'm going to be online and open to having people join in. And there's games that I've played so far that are multiplayer that I could have people joining into the game. So I think that's going to be something I'm going to be working on implementing, but I also want to make sure that I'm not sitting there for 2 hours with a multiplayer game and no one hops on. So if I can coordinate a time, if there's anyone that watches this that says, hey, you know what, I would love to do that. Saturday at 4 o'clock works great for me. Then, comment down below. Let me know if that's something you would like to do. And, we'll record it, throw it into the Saturday sit down as a little special feature of our live event. I think it'd be fun. There's also Among Us. I thought about doing that one. That would be pretty entertaining as well. And just a thought. I think it'd be pretty cool. And I'm looking at also doing some co-op stuff with Logan, the game It Takes Two. I think that would be fun. And, for us to go back and forth trying to figure things out. And he's also been playing a lot of Grounded again, which is a beautiful, fun game. And I really enjoyed it. I got sucked into it for a long time. And they released updates now. It's pretty much a fully fledged out game at this point. So that might be something fun to do and play with him. The only downfall is that I can't build obnoxiously large like I usually do. Like, I built a pretty big base, but it's not like just stupid like I do in other games like Planet Crafter and stuff. Some of the other games I'm considering about covering or maybe adding to the channel, there is Deadside, X4 Foundations, and The Infected. Those are 3 that I've been debating and looking at. The Infected is something I'm sort of leaning towards. Deadside and X4 Foundations, I mean, they still work, but The Infected really looks like it's very much along the lines of like No One Survived and the building and crafting and survival aspects. It just looks really fun to me. Anyway, I've crossed the 20-minute threshold on a Saturday sit down. Yay! This is the first time I've actually had like so much stuff to talk about, and as the channel grows, I mean, I'm just going to really have to try to really figure out what I'm going to cover each Saturday. But I was so happy to sit down with you today, go over all this, and I can't wait for next week and some of the stuff that's coming out. And I'm going to have a lot more stuff to cover. Survival Fountain of Youth will be on Monday, and I believe that's when I start building the base. So y'all are going to get to see my crazy building again, and I built a pretty monster base in that game, and I'm really excited about that. Well, that was a lot for today. I want to thank y'all for watching. This has been Dig the Game Saturday Sit Down. Y'all stay safe out there, and we will see you on the next Dig the Game. Take care, everybody.